There is a researcher named Mark Levine at the University of Exeter who has spent years studying what actually triggers intervention. His work, published across multiple studies in the 2000s and 2010s, found something that flies against everything the original theory predicted. People are significantly more likely to help when they feel a shared identity with the person in need. Not because they suddenly become more selfless, but because shared identity removes the ambiguity. It makes the situation legible. You are no longer a stranger reading a stranger. You are someone reading someone who is part of your group, and your brain processes that as information worth acting on. In other words, the bystander effect is not a fixed feature of human psychology. It is a variable that changes based on how connected people feel in that specific moment. That is a reframe so large it should change how you think about crowds entirely. In 2021, a review published in The American Psychologist, led by researcher Tobias Greidemeyer, examined nearly a century of bystander research and concluded that the passive bystander has been dramatically overstated as a phenomenon. People intervene. They intervene often. The original narrative was shaped by one bad case study and then confirmed by laboratory experiments designed to measure failure. The experiments found what they were designed to find. What the real world shows is something different. What the real world shows is that humans are, by deep evolutionary design, oriented toward helping. For 300,000 years, your ancestors survived because groups of humans looked out for each other. The ones who ignored a member of the group in distress were filtered out of the gene pool. The instinct to respond to someone in danger is older than language. It is older than culture. It is written into the architecture of your nervous system. The bystander effect, when it does occur, is not a corruption of that instinct. It is a glitch caused by social ambiguity in modern environments that your ancient brain was never built to navigate. You evolved in groups of 50 to 150 people who knew each other by face and name. You did not evolve to assess strangers on subway platforms, surrounded by 200 people you have never met. When the modern crowd freezes, it is not a moral failure. It is a mismatch between ancient wiring and a novel environment. And knowing that changes what you do next time. Because the research is clear on one thing. The single most effective intervention against the bystander effect is direct, specific communication, not a general call for help, not hoping someone steps forward, one person looking at one specific other person and saying, "You in the blue jacket, call an ambulance now." That act of specificity collapses the ambiguity immediately. It breaks the silence. It gives the crowd a signal that reads as real. You do not need to be braver than everyone else in the room. You just need to speak first. That is what the original bystander narrative stole from you. It told you the crowd was a moral failure waiting to happen. It made you distrust the people around you. It made you feel like an exception if you did help and like a statistic if you hesitated. But you are not a statistic, and neither are the people around you. The next time you are in a room and something feels wrong, remember what you actually know now. The crowd is not indifferent. The crowd is waiting for a signal. The crowd is waiting for someone to say, "This is real, and we are doing something about it," and that someone does not have to be a hero. It just has to be you. Because for nearly all of human history, in nearly every real emergency caught on camera, that is exactly who showed up. Picture this. Someone collapses on a busy street. Someone stops. Then another person stops. Then another. Not because they were unusually brave. Because the first person broke the silence and the crowd finally had a signal it could read. That is not the bystander effect. That is humans doing exactly what humans do,